Hi, and welcome to this episode of John's Model Kit Review. Today I am looking at Revell's Messerschmitt BF 109 F2 and 4. This is Revell kit number 04656. I have recently completed this kit. This is my third build completion so far in 2024. I have featured this kit in several previous videos, including a pastel weathering video where we were adding surface detail to a basic kit with pastels. You can check that video out at the link above. The plastic parts in this kit were originally designed by ICM and released in the early 2000s. In this video, we'll be taking a look at the built-up kit. We will also be taking a look at the kit instructions. We'll look at the kit surface detail. We'll also look at the detailing on some of the smaller parts. I will also be covering areas to watch out for on this kit, some problem areas and my solutions to those. I will be covering any aftermarket details I'm using on this build. And we will be looking at the kit decals as well. And this kit was really designed to have the engine compartment opened up and the engine displayed. As such, it really doesn't have all the parts you need to model this aircraft all closed up, as I have. So I've had to do a little bit of scratch building and a little bit of improvisation here. Taking a look at the surface detail on the kit, you can see there's very minimal engraved detail. I have used pastels to add some subtle surface detailing to the exterior of the kit. You can see that in this photo. The plastic parts on this kit are somewhat soft. The surface texture is somewhat grainy as well. As such, they don't respond incredibly well to the liquid cement that I use. Looking at the kit instructions, step 1, 2, and 3 all deal with the cockpit interior. Everything goes together pretty well here. It's pretty straightforward. Steps 4 and 5 begin the engine assembly. Steps 6 through 12 continue on with the assembly of the engine and the engine bay. Since I was planning to build this kit all closed up, I did build the engine block and the cylinders and the crankshaft coming off the front of the engine, simply to hold the prop in place and to hold the exhaust in place. But I left all of the details off of the engine simply because they would be unseen on my finished kit. Steps 13 and 14 show how to attach the engine to the interior. I did not do this. I left the engine a separate assembly from the interior. In step 15, I simply closed up the fuselage halves around the interior. Steps 16 and 17 cover the wings, and I deviated a little bit from the kit instructions here by gluing the upper wings to the fuselage halves first to make sure that my wing root fit was really good. Step 18 covers assembling the wing to the fuselage. It also covers the tail planes of the kit. And you can see the wing seemed to fit pretty good. I didn't really have any major fit issues with the wing. And the tail planes themselves went on nicely. In comparison with the elevators, the fabric detail on the rudder was extremely overdone. Steps 19 and 20 just cover the oil cooler, depending on which version you're building. In steps 21 through 24, I completed step 21, and then I glued the engine covers that are shown in step 24 to the completed nose section. And when I lined everything up, it left a gap down the middle between the two engine halves, and I used a piece of plastic strip to fill that gap where the hinge is on the actual aircraft that allows the engine covers to open. And so what I did was trimmed the plastic strip and sanded it down and then notched it so it looks like a hinge on top of the engine covers. And I dry fitted this to the aircraft and made sure that I had a good fit all the way around the engine compartment, and I installed the oil cooler at this time. Fit here was okay on all of these parts. It wasn't superb, and you can see some of the panel lines are a little bit uneven. Steps 25 through 30 cover the landing gear and the radiators. The landing gear looks acceptable on the finished kit, and I ended up replacing the kit wheels with some wheels from a HobbyCraft BF 109, simply because the kit supplied wheels were so basic and a little bit oversized, and they had no tread detail whatsoever. because I wanted to display the radiator flaps open, I had to modify the kit parts. And there's really not an option to do this in the kit, so it leaves them without much support. There's only a butt join between the radiators themselves and the lower flaps. I've had these lower flaps break off multiple times as I've been handling the kit. Steps 31 through 33 cover the installation of the cockpit canopy. The clear parts on this kit were somewhat of a highlight. They are very thin. They have excellent clarity on the finished kit and allow you to see into the interior very well. And the fit on them was pretty decent as well. Step 34 covers the assembly of the prop, and I've got a picture of the prop here. The detail's kind of soft on this. There's a pretty significant mold shift, and then there's a lot of flash to be cleaned up. Because the plastic itself is so soft and grainy, it's a little bit hard to tell where the flash stops and where the part itself begins. And the shape of this prop too is a little bit questionable to me. Another issue that I noticed was that the prop spinner itself is slightly too small for the front of the aircraft. There are two marking options included in this kit. The first marking option is for a Bf 109 F2, flown out of France in 1941, and this was flown by Hans Assi Hahn. The second marking option is for a Bf 109 F4 that flew in Africa in September of 1942. This is probably the most famous Bf 109F. It was flown by Hans Joachim Marseille. The decals on this kit were another highlight. They were opaque, they were in register, and they settled down nicely into the engraved detail that's on the kit. I had no issues with the decals on this one. Well, I'm a little bit torn with this kit. I really like the look of the finished kit. I think it responded well to the additions and modifications that I made to it, and it looks good with the extra detailing that I put into it. The clear parts on the kit are very good. The decals themselves are also a highlight, although I did have to source a swastika for the rudder of this kit, since it was not included. But on the other hand, I think there are much easier to build and more accurate options available for a Bf 109F. Price-wise, it's in the same ballpark as an Eduard Bf 109F weekend edition kit, and those kits are so nice in comparison to this kit. I think the only way I can recommend this kit is if you wanted to do a build with the engine compartment opened up, but if you do that, this kit is competing with the Zvezda kit, which is better and more accurate. Well, I'd love to know what you guys think. If any of you have built this Revell or ICM Bf 109F kit before, please feel free to comment in the comment section below. As always, I hope you found this video entertaining and informative, and until next time, model on.